A lot of times we hear these wonderful stories in the Bible and we just kind of say, oh, wow, that's cool, and then go on. It's difficult. It's hard to be able to try and put yourself in the spot of, to live in the skin of, to get in the shoes of the other people, but the sandals of these women and all of them. And what was it like for Jesus to say, rejoice, in that last video, or all that? Like, try and get the perspective on what it was like. Like, that's why there's fear and joy and all these mixed feelings the women had, and seeing Jesus and or the angel, and now Jesus. And what excitement. Like, I don't think there's anything more exciting that you can think of except, well, heaven, but, you know, to be with God forever. But, like, this is fantastic stuff. Like, this is what it's all led up to. The Old Testament led up to it. We look back at it. It's like this thing I keep doing, you know. We're here near the end of time. We're looking back at this, the cross, and then they were looking forward to the cross. It's like it's all here, and it happened. The event literally happened when the fullness of times came, is what Paul said in Galatians chapter 4. Perfect timing. God's always perfect in his timing, by the way. If you're going through some really tough stuff, or you're going through questions and doubts and all that, just trust God. Wait on God. His timing is perfect. He comes through. And he came through that grave. And he appeared perfectly to the women. And, you know, just remarkable stuff. He appears to the women, like I said before, because their witnessing as witnesses would have been useless in the courts of men. But God has his own court. And he stepped in and he shared Jesus. And Jesus shared himself, here I am. Here I am. And now go tell the disciples. And then he'll appear before them later. He could have reversed it. He could have done either or, but he did it that way because he knows what he's doing. All right, so this is great. Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, do you remember the soldiers? However many they were petrified. They were panicked. They were frantic. They went into the swoon. Remember the swoon theory about Jesus not really dying on the cross? Rubbish. He died on the cross. And then they got up and they ran to the chief priests. Now the question is, I'm not sure why the chief priests, but I think I know why, but I don't know why for sure. But here it is. Let's say Pilate, he's the guy in charge. Pilates, you know, Pilate. And one of two things. He sent his own Roman soldiers, which I think probably happened. I'm not 100% sure. Or the chief priests and the scribes and all that wanted he sent the temple guards, you know, the police of the temple, which is Jewish men. These would be Greeks or Gentiles, or he could have said, yeah, I'll let you have the Jewish policemen, the Jewish, not soldiers, but sort of, not exactly Roman soldiers, but so whichever group went and guarded the tomb, they were guarded. It was secure. And most likely, by the way, I think they took shifts. Now, either they stayed there at the tomb, or like they went like this and they kept taking shifts. Like, okay, it's your turn. Now they were there watching for how many hours, 3, 5, 6 hours. And then they rotated, and maybe some of them went home and then came back. That's what it was like for, you know, however long, you know, they wanted them there. And the Jewish, the same thing. Maybe the Jewish priests, the Levites really, the Levites had different jobs. Some of them were police, and so they secured the tomb, and they took shifts, and they went home, and then they came back. And so you have guards 24 hours a day guarding it. And then suddenly that was all broken up. That God can't be stopped by some guards or some tombstone, heavy stone, or anything. God can't be stopped. He's unstoppable. And so whatever it was, these guards, whoever that was, went to, they left the tomb area. Let's say this is a tomb area here. They left the tomb area and they went not to Pilate, but they went to the chief priests, who was, I'll put them over here. The chief priests were the ones that Pilate allowed, chief priests and elders, and all, allowed either that group of soldiers or that group of soldiers. Okay, one or the other guarded it. I still think it's that one, but I'm not sure. Anyway, regardless, these, if it was them, they went to the chief priests, or the temple Levites came to the chief priests and told them the story. And that is, we saw an angel. we experienced an earthquake there. They probably did too. And then the tomb was empty. The tombstone, they ran in, I'm sure, and said, where is he? He's not there. Where's the body? How did he get out? They knew it wasn't a stolen body. There's no way. There's no way that that body could have been stolen. By the way, even if there was a way, you think the disciples would have done it? Are you kidding? They're scared. They went away from him even in the garden before the trials, much less, coming. These are like mostly poor, men here who come, and they're going to steal a body out from the guards. And by the way, you mess with the grave at that time and you could get killed for it. That was a penalty. You think they're going to try and steal a body and make up a religion when they're going to get killed, and they're probably going to be caught with all these wide awake guards sitting there. Oh, there you are. You're dead. And they'll beat them. They'll take them. Those guards went back, though, and said, this is what happened. Now what do we do? They were concerned if Pilate would have found out about it, which chances are I think he did get a rumor later that it happened. And by the way, well, let me read this passage to get it for you. But the chief priest said, in case he does hear about this incident, then we'll cover for you. We'll protect you. We'll defend you somehow. And that's what happened. They were defending. Now listen to what happened. This is like seriously crazy. All right, so it says, while the women were on their way, the soldiers, some of the guards, well, does that mean some of them were at home, sleep, relaxing because they weren't there when that happened? Very possible. Maybe some of the guards are on shifts. Some of the guards went into the city and reported to the chief priest. They went into the, temple area and found him in the Sanhedrin, and went to the chief priest and they explained everything that happened. When the chief priests had met with the elders, that's right, the chief priests met with the elders, so they got together. It's a quick meeting, all of a sudden, it's a sudden meeting, they got together, here they are meeting again about this one named Jesus. They can't get rid of him, I'll tell you what. You can't keep a good man down. It says, when the chief priests had met with the elders and devised a plan, they made up a plan, a scheme, a strategy. They gave the soldiers a large sum of money. They paid them off to be quiet, to be silent. Don't tell the story. I have a curiosity in me that I wonder if all the soldiers did that. I tend to think not. I think they did, a lot of them. But they were paid to be quiet about the angel, the empty tomb, and all that. I just don't think they... I think some of them may have gotten saved. That would be a really good fictional story. I don't know, maybe it's out there somewhere, where they take one of the soldiers who decide, I can't keep quiet. Jesus truly is the Son of God. He rose from the dead. I got to tell everybody. And then he would be persecuted, and that would be a cool story to write, a cool book and a movie or something to make. So it says, they gave the soldiers a large sum of money, telling them, you are to say this. You know what they said? It's a big fat lie. Lie. It says, his disciples came during the night. This is what they said. His disciples came during the night while you're asleep and they took the body. Yeah, right. Imagine pushing that stone away with without making noise. And first of all, nobody's sleeping, because if they were to be found sleeping, they would die. Now, unless some of them are awake and some are sleeping at the same time, but I think, who knows? They could have taken shifts, like I said, rotated it. It says, his disciples came during the night and stole away his body while you were asleep. Wrong answer. So the soldiers, it says, if this report gets to the governor, Pontius Pilate, we will satisfy him and keep you out of trouble. So the soldiers took the money and did as they were instructed. That's true. They all did it, but maybe there was one or two that didn't. Sometimes it's not all. It says all Jerusalem. Sometimes it's just kind of taking a general statement. On the other hand, maybe every last one of those soldiers took the money and they said nothing. Maybe till their deathbed or something. I don't know. Maybe never. And so they made a lot of money off of a lie. Not good. Don't do wrong things because you're getting benefited by money or something from it. And this story, it says, has been widely circulated among the Jews until this day. And that was whenever he wrote this whole big book type thing, this treatise or this letter to the community of Jewish believers and Gentiles, the church. That was the story that was made up. So he's kind of given a reason why that they said that. It's an apologetic. It's very cool that story's in there. I don't think Mark, Luke, or John doesn't say it. He brings it up. And I still think he knew more than the others possibly because he was a tax collector working for Rome. So he probably had some friendships and connections there that he got that story. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's a true story. So pretty amazing. So they lied about it. And think about this. So much to think about. The chief priests, do you remember how they said, "Save yourself, Jesus. Come off the cross. Prove to you, and then we will believe you." Well, they believed the story, and they still didn't believe him. Reminds me of Jesus in Luke 16 at the end. You know, even if they don't believe the book of the Bible, the Moses and the law and the prophets, they're not going to believe the one raised from the dead, Jesus predicted. They believed in it, and they rejected it. Wow. They should have, at that point, the chief priests and the elders should have said, "Guys, he's really alive. What? This is true. You know, what are we thinking? Let's take these Christians and make peace with them, and let's bring them in and say, you guys, let's serve the Messiah, Jesus." That's how wicked and hard they were. Don't let your heart harden from sin. Don't reject Jesus. You'll go into complete darkness. Just darkness. I can't turn my light off there. Just darkness. Because you're not following the truth. They knew it was true and they rejected it anyway. Why? Because they were jealous and they wanted power over the people. They were the leaders of the Jewish people over that nation, and they just hated Jesus because he told the truth when it stung, and they didn't like him to show all their deeds. See, the light was being shown on them through his messages that they were not good. They weren't good people. They were really wicked. How evil people, he said. He called them. Well, there you go with that story. I hope that makes sense. If not, just read that passage. It's pretty cool. God bless you. In other words, I hope I explained it well. Very cool. All right. God bless you. Bye.